Would you get a digitally de-aged Marvel Legend of Alfred Molina?
See, yeah, if all the rumours and this, well, I mean, some of those villains are going to be in the film regardless. But if everything turns out to be true in terms of the rumour mill, I mean, if they release a Charlie Cox, I mean, yes, yeah. There's more on that though, which may or may not be good or bad news. There may or may not be more on that. But if they did release a second wave after the film's out to prevent spoilers, and then saying the Sinister Six villains, then yeah, I'd go.
About a Sinister Six-pack.
That's what I mean. Yeah, and then with a seventh just to troll us. They'd release a seventh one in that wave just to mug it off. But no, I don't know. Like that Spider-Man wave looks promising. What if I'm just gonna get them all? Eternal. Well, I have to wait for the film. I have to see if it's as good as Shang-Chi. Because, I mean, 2021, we've still got, 4 months, 17 weeks left of this year. A lot can happen. Everything can get delayed. Or in some cases, can get forward a little bit. We ain't got to wait till 2022 no more for, like, one of the films. In the form of Venom 2. I mean, that's coming out the day after James Bond. I mean...
Yeah, man.
Yay?
Yeah.
Yay?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nerdball Podcast, episode 166.
Gee, that was a long ramble.
Yeah, it's a camera one because Connor has got what I had.
It's
terrible
my
cold. He's not got COVID, thank God. So precautionary. No, he is just in his Marvel Legends chamber, just waiting for his Shang-Chi order.
Sanctorum, Quicksilver 4, and it's a Shang-Chi I haven't ordered. They're just the ones I'm thinking about next. Because, again, that film was bloody brilliant.
It is.
That's all I'll say.
We're going to be talking spoilers on Shang-Chi because it only came out this last week gone when you listen to this. So it's only been out a week. It's had a really good opening weekend, and it's, like you said, it's caused Sony to go, well, we'll undelay Venom. We're going to bring it forward a little bit more, which is nice. So it's 2 weeks earlier. Bag under this fucking desk. There we go.
But then I don't know. I'd get just to bide the gap between Venom and Spider-Man. Just shove Morbius in the middle. Just shove Morbius in like November.
You should never shove Morbius in the middle of anything.
And then we can just get it cut away. Yeah, as long as Morbius doesn't get put back till next summer, because then we'll all forget that this movie was even meant to come out.
I'd like to live in that world where this film doesn't come out.
What if Jared Leto wasn't a vampire?
Jared Leto wasn't a horrible person who, made his fans have sex with him even though they're underage? But alas, a story for another time. We've also got What If Episode 5 dropped today. That was good. It's probably the first time I've watched one before you, which was...
Yes. I kind of forgot it was Wednesday. I had to do something this morning, so my day was a little bit reversed. Normally I do just wake up, go hop downstairs straight away, and I'm like, right, big TV, I need to view it in my glory. But the morning was a bit kerfuffled. So that was that, and then I was finished. And then there's another show that George, maybe at the very beginning of the podcast or even before we did the podcast, he was like, "Oh, you need to watch." I'll get to it in a bit, but essentially, I've been watching that. I finished that season off before I did What If, and then I did What If about an hour and a bit ago, and I've still had time to process What If, and both of these things were great. But my day's kind of been shuffled, hence why I didn't watch it for you.
Yeah, but you've watched a good show, and you've watched an even better episode of What If, because I think that's my favourite so far. In terms of the news, in one of those rare moments where we can look at our phones for the stuff we send each other and then continue. So obviously, this is on camera because obviously we're apart, so we can screen record on Streamlabs. Like we said before, the camera situation is fucked. So if we're in person, it will be, audio, and if not, we'll be, like this if we're, divided by germs and shit like that.
Exactly.
What happened this week? So,
what's his name? Patrick Wilson. Is it Patrick Wilson? Ocean Master,
Wilson. Starting in the
Conjuring
world
Man.
of DC, darling.
Yeah, Conjuring guy, Aquaman guy. He looks different.
Yeah.
We got a first look, like literally last night or the night before, and he doesn't look anything like he did in Aquaman 1. He doesn't look nothing like it.
He's long hair, scraggle beard. How does this play into Atlantis, the Lost Empire? Oh wait, no, I mean Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom. Basically.
Yeah. Same title, really.
It's an interesting look. It's not the only look we got from Aquaman 2, though, was it?
No.
Have you not seen? Have you not seen Aquaman's new suit?
Oh yes, I did. I mean, I saw comments. It's half Batman. Just take off the very dark, almost Zack Snyder vision. But I mean, it's not in his canon, so or is it? Or you don't know.
Well, we got a new stealth suit to be featured. It's a second round new suit, and it's bluey, like
bluey.
A bluey, like blackish version of the Aquaman suit that wasn't the suit that he got from King Atlan. So what is continuity? I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Not me.
Check back a good few episodes ago because I had this exact discussion after the Snyder Cut, changing the canon anyway, and then going back to Aquaman, and none of it made sense anyway. Before and after, it did not make any sense. Baffling choices were made.
Yeah. Are we? Because we know Aquaman's filming at Leavesden at the minute. If you go to the Harry Potter studio tour, it's probably still. Was it still? Yes, it was still there. They're in obviously the process of doing it. So if they're still over there, go and have a look. Say hi. Tell them I sent you and my vast superior knowledge. And I can just get a bit of light back in. I don't know if I'm excited about Aquaman 2 because I just Amber Heard's still in it, and I don't really care.
Fucking Amber Heard. Yeah. When I think of the DCEU, and I think of we read a list of all the projects that they said were in development at one point, and and things that could happen and then are not happening and shit. When I think about any one of them, I think I'd rather have any of them as opposed to Aquaman 2. The first film just didn't wow me. It was still an entertaining time. It still doesn't do a lot for me. Jason Momoa's fine. Khal Drogo speaks more than Dothraki. He can speak more than 2 Dothraki words. But he just doesn't do a lot in the whole superhero genre of lineup of movies.
Yeah,
he just doesn't stand out to me. It's just kind of there.
He's good though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but that's the thing. Every time you see him in any other bit of media, whoever it is, if it's the director or what canon it's in, it just seems to change. He needs. I don't know what exactly he needs.
And James Wan saying, "Yeah, we're following the continuity of the Snyderverse," and it's like, oh, you just want the shitty fans to get their own way, don't you? And that's the unfortunate bit about it. It's the first one's fine. It's 4 different movies in one, and when it picks one, it's serviceable. And we'll watch it. It's not going to be one of the ones that I'm because we've had the Suicide Squad, we've had Birds of Prey, we've had Shazam, we've had 90% of Wonder Woman, the first one, and we want to like this stuff. Healthy competition is great for both sides because then try harder. But
in DC, they've had a hell of a year. I mean, the 2 products we actually have got this year, Black Adam would have been out this December full season, but that's now next summer. DC have had a hell of a year. Like you say, competition is a very key part of success and just business in general. And both of their products, I mean, you haven't seen the Snyder Cut yet, still.
No.
And the Suicide Squad, spoiler alert, they probably will both be in my top 10 this year. And I'm not just going to try and put all the comic book movies this year in my top 10 because there's nothing to watch. This is the opposite. This isn't 2020. There's been loads of movies to watch this year. It's the complete opposite.
Most of them would have been on our list last year, but obviously they didn't come out.
Exactly, yeah. And we didn't really do one. We might have had like a top 5 or something, or like just a few things that were like, that was good, this was good, and we said in whatever episode we did at the time. But I don't feel like we did last year. All right, we couldn't do last year justice because we didn't get half the products. So,
Yeah.
I can't remember what even we did last year.
Jojo Rabbit, 1917.
Parasite, 1917, yeah. Those 3.
They were the standouts, really. Yeah. Do you know? I've bought my first film of 2021. Like I've bought one.
Okay.
It's one I saw in the cinema.
Yeah.
Because Hitman's Bodyguard's Wife's now out on the 4K and Blu-ray.
It is, isn't it? Yes, that was like last week or the week before. Like it's recent.
It's literally, I think, they only just come out in this last week, and I was like, 20 quid for the 4K in Tesco. I mean, other retailers are available, but so I was like, how can I not? So now I'm going to have to, go back and I'm going to have to pop into HMV and get the first one. So it's just in the bad thing. But...
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was one of the earliest ones I saw. Shall I see if I can find what I've seen this year? Because I think that was the first one.
I've got a couple of releases when the cinemas first opened. Because lately the turnaround for movies getting a home media release is kind of like halved. Which is a good thing for us because it means Christmas ain't going to be as expensive.
It's good and it's not, because obviously if you're having a more limited release window in like the actual cinema, then it's a bit like because we'll get back to the thing of it being longer than 45, but 45 days seems like enough now anyway. Like
it kind of does. That's the thing.
Go from that until thingy, but so at the moment I've got my top 3 for 2021, so I'm just trying not. I don't want to say them yet because spoilers, because it's probably not going to change.
Subject to change.
Well, subject to change, but there's obviously not a lot of room left for change. Because what movies have we got coming out this year? While I look at that, do you want to talk about the series you started watching? Candyman.
Right. So the series / evaluation of life. It is one of the Office meets. I'm trying to think something with so much character development, but okay, let's go with The Office, but serious and double the length of each episode, set in the 1960s, with the influence of like LA Noire, which is a game by Rockstar Games like 10 years ago, but it's a fucking one of my all-time favourite games. And George, if you haven't played it, then fucking play it. Because a lot of the only reason I watched it, because a lot of the fucking people in the game, and they use like the motion scan technology to actually put the faces of the actors in the game. Basically, 90% of the cast in the game are in this show, and that's the reason why I watched Mad Men. That's where it all came from. But yeah, there you go, Mad Men. I just said it. Yeah, it's Mad Men.
I'm so glad you finally, after years of trying to get you to watch Mad Men,
I found it. Yeah. I had a reason. No, it was in my calendar. It was it was slotted free in my calendar. I had a free slot of whatever program I was watching next. So 13 episodes a season. I think they're like 92, 3 episodes in total. Done 13, and I'm knackered.
Season 1 is a
lot happens. A lot of shit goes down. A lot of shit goes down.
Who is your favourite character at the moment?
I did like Pete up until episode 8, and Pete's just dickhead. Peggy will become the woman that she's meant to be, because she's just the girl unafraid of. Well, she is afraid of just the work environment and men in general, and she's got to go through some hardships for then to become like the badass woman she'll become.
To become the badass that's in Invisible Man.
Of course, yes. I knew her face. I knew the face. There's so many people. I'm like, you. But like for me, a lot of them were from this one game. And then I did a Google search just to see how many people. And honestly, I could send you a screenshot of how many people from the game were in the episodes. Yeah. And a lot of them are main characters as well. Yeah. So it was just unreal. It sort of blew my mind, really. It blew my mind. But like one of the people I was looking for was Aaron Staton. who plays Ken.
Yeah.
Because he's the protagonist in this LA Noire game. Like, he is the guy you play as Cole Phelps, and he's fucking great in the game. So I thought, fuck it. I want to see him be a badass in an office. And at the moment, I feel like he's a secondary character. But I feel like, obviously, all of them will be their own thing and, just develop and go further and become even fucking crazier than they were, like, 2 episodes ago. Like, I take it Ken does do more. Like, Aaron Staton, I take it he does do more.
Yes.
Yeah, Ken,
I don't want to.
Ken
This,
Cosgrove,
this is a whole thing.
Yeah,
you're
he does.
You're gonna have to go on a ride. Like, you're gonna be just like beaten down by alcoholism and John Hamm's face. I love John Hamm.
I see why you like John Hamm as well. There's nothing wrong with John Hamm, but I now get the appeal of him after watching, like, not even 13. It was after 1 or 2. I thought, fuck, man, he's great.
He is charismatic as balls.
He's great.
Lovely
Definitely
man.
one of the best written leads I've ever seen. He's just, sick show. I love Mad Men. It's on Amazon Prime. I think when I was going to watch it eons ago, it was on Netflix for quite a while, and I searched for it on Netflix and it's been taken off. But Amazon Prime Video, check it out, guys. You won't honestly be disappointed, because I thought John Hamm, okay actor. I've seen you in 1 or 2 films, but you're not exactly Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans taking on the MCU nowadays, but it's fine. Honestly, give it an hour of a Mad Men.
I remember when the thing was that they would carry on doing Iron Man or reboot it with, like, and John Hamm would be like, everyone wanted John Hamm. But now it's like multiversal Iron Man, John Hamm. Yeah.
And I mean, in the long circumstances turned out, we kind of got that in the form of MODOK, because he is the voice of Iron Man. So and that's quite funny how it's turned out anyway.
Have you finished that MODOK yet?
No. No.
That will be
the thing we'll watch next.
Jesus
No.
Christ.
No, I know. Mad Men, literally, Mad Men, I think I started, it must have been Thursday night before Shang-Chi. It must have been before Shang-Chi on Friday. So I think it was Thursday or even last Wednesday. And then I was out Saturday. Because I think that's the reason why I'm not with you, is because of what happened Saturday. But I remember getting home at 3 a.m. and watching episode 4 and 5 after a night out.
Because
that's how we
and then you got ill.
Sunday, 24 hours later, I was ill. Sunday day, I was buzzing. I was eating roast beef, Yorkshire pudding, having a feast. I was living my best life. And then Sunday evening, that's when it all went to shit. But enough of that. That's later on in the video. What was I getting at? When did I start it? So I literally only started it, like, say last Thursday, fuck it, or even Wednesday, and I finished it like maybe 2 or 3 hours ago. So a week, and it's been a crazy journey. But since Saturday, that's when I got hooked. That's when I just got absolutely hooked, and I needed it every second. I was just like, oh
man.
Development.
Well, you know it's bad when you're going home from a night out and watching it.
I weren't tired. I weren't tired. No.
Good lad.
Yeah, don't do it, kids. Stay home. Wear your masks, especially in your bedrooms. Do not sleep without your masks on. Don't do nothing.
This heat. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, no, except when it's like 40-degree heat. Yeah, do what you like. Sneak a bottle of liquor. No one will look. Don Draper wouldn't bat an eyelid. But no, Mad Men. I was surprised. But what made you find it? That's what I'm curious. What made you find Mad Men? Was it something you just flipped through the Sky Channel all those years ago, back in 2007?
I used to watch it when it was on.
When it started.
Like when it was actually on terrestrial television. I used to go and watch the old Mad Men. Like, not in as obsessively as I watch stuff now, but like I used to like watch it. I think I remember how like fucking popular it was when it was on like Sky One and shit like that, and like everyone just used to talk about, oh, a big show Mad Men. I remember when it was ending and stuff, and the point when it was on Netflix, and it was like binge watched it all again, and it was like, yeah, this show is fabulous, absolutely. And I've always been a John Hamm stan fan, but you know, it's so good.
I'm converting. Oh, I see the appeal now of John Hamm. He's sick. I liked him before. He wasn't quite like in the top list of like people because like he hasn't been in like I say he hasn't been in things like his filmography is quite huge and long and stuff. But like you don't see him popping up in the Marvel. You don't see him popping up in DC. You don't see him popping up in
like in franchise. Batman for a long time, wasn't
he? He was in Batman.
He was rumoured to be Batman for the longest time. He was.
Was he actually?
Yeah. It's like you know when they were going to get Armie Hammer, and then it was like can't get Christian Bale back for Dawn of Jaundice, and he was one of the names in the hat for DCU Batman.
Oh.
Which I think he could have totally fucking smashed. That would have been good. Yeah, so in terms of our top 10s being affected, the main stuff coming at the moment is obviously we finally get No Time to Die, Halloween Kills, hopefully, obviously Venom, Dune,
Halloween Kills, yes,
which I've got a trailer
Halloween
for,
Kills,
Shang-Chi, Eternals.
So yes, so that weekend, that's what I was thinking. So Bond is the 30th. I'm pretty sure it's going to be out in Cineworld on the 30th. No previews on the 30th, but I'm pretty sure we'll watch it the 30th. October 1st is now Venom, and then June is the 2nd. So that's 3 films that weekend, or end of week. That's going to be a busy week.
That is going to be a
busy week.
Very busy week. Yeah, and obviously like Last Night in Soho.
I'm there for it. I'll gladly.
Yes, still The Matrix.
Edgar Wright horror thriller thing. Yes, Matt Smith. Yes.
They're putting Dune 1984 back in cinemas as well.
Oh, go away.
The new one. Ghostbusters.
Sorry, say that again. They put Ghostbusters.
Yeah, Ghostbusters. A New Ghost to Ghost. Minions 2. Spider-Man: No Way Home, of course, and is the King's Man still scheduled for this year? So there is some stuff that could sneak up into the top 10, possibly. I'm not holding my breath for major changes. Obviously, you're going to have probably a more in-depth best and worst this year because you obviously got back in the groove. As soon as the first bit of the cinema being open, you was in it, and then when it opened fully, probably you've been
quick.
I must see everything before it closes again.
Consume media, that's just You couldn't chance it, but
it's the main thing.
The way it's going, hopefully they won't. Hopefully we're past and through. We've been through the worst of it, so I'm hopefully things can still aim for release dates. They can actually plan ahead and be like, yes, things will come out, and then if we have little scuffles, if the government has to lock us in for a temporary short period, but then by the end of it we can get out and run riot on the streets afterwards, then fine. Oh, there's a sheep. You've gone.
No, just because my thing was lagging, so I saw if I could turn the camera off and turn it back on again. If you try turning it off and turning it back on again. No, yes, I totally agree with you because that's what we're all about: consuming media and more things. Yes, and the question you're all after: will Connor open his toys on camera? Yes, of course he will. Probably. I don't know. Maybe.
No, yes. So I wanted to just not brief. Well, I was going to think about it and sort of plan it. So Doctor Who, Evil of the Daleks, is something like the 26th or 27th of September, and then mostly a Monday. The last couple Blu-ray releases have been a Monday. So I'm going to use that unboxing as a trial phase. I'm going to use that as a trial and sort of figure out how it's going to be. Obviously, once it's open, I can't reseal it and go, hey guys, 10th unboxing. once it's open, it's open. But I'll try and experiment with it, and then I'll just get into the mojo. Shang-Chi, October the 1st. Those what if? So Legends Wave. I'll try and get as many of them. So. It might be in one package, it might be in 4 different packages, but I might just try and get them all and just, ta-da!
He's doing them.
That'll be the experiment.
What if you just opened them and there was a zombie? Ooh! Spoilers.
Well, that will happen at some point. Yeah.
So, is it 5? Is it 5?
Episode 5. Yeah, we've got a month left. It ends 4 episodes' time. We'll be talking about the last one, or even live streaming it if it's longer.
Yeah, hopefully. If we know a runtime, then we'll be like, sure, let's do that and then talk about it.
Yeah.
Episode 5, not a actual question this time. It was just, what if zombies?
Zombies.
Probably one of the most anticipated ones.
What if zombies? Yeah.
Because this is one of the 3 we originally knew was happening. This Captain Carter and T'Challa Star-Lord. And I'm surprised it wasn't like episode 6 or 7. Like a bit later down the line, make us wait a bit more before you get into Guardians of the Multiverse stuff. But this was, I think, now my favourite one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I did like it a lot. It was really good.
This one was the most comic book plot. I mean, they're all set in the MCU, and there's very MCU-y isms about the plot, and essentially it opens up with Hulk going back from Sakaar as if he's been... Oh, no, not Sakaar. It's the beginning of Infinity War, when Thanos is about to destroy Earth, and he's sent back to Earth. But like Jeffrey Wright brilliantly narrates each fucking intro, it's not the Earth that he remembered and recognised. So, of course... It's empty. He crashes through the Sanctum Sanctorum, and he's sort of like,
Thanos is coming.
Has anyone got any clothes? Has anyone got any clothes?
So we get. I like how we get that, but we also get the moment. Like we get the look at the moment it changed, which was Janet coming back in the events of Ant-Man and the Wasp, and she had basically a disease, a virus had sort of like embedded itself within her, within the quantum realm. And she brought that back through Hank, and then Hank had brought it into the world, and then it was zombies. And we see Scott get devoured by Hank and Janet as Hope flies off.
Yeah, that's sad. That's sad.
It had a really good voice cast.
A lot of them come back, I think. There's a couple of voices which I didn't recognise, but I think a lot of them were there.
I think it was
right?
all of them apart from Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know that wasn't Tom Holland, definitely.
But he sounded a lot like him, though.
Was it the PS4 voice actor, maybe? I'll Google it, but is it not the one from the PlayStation game?
I don't think it was, no. It sounded like... It's someone that's played him before, I think. But I don't think it was necessarily Yuri, what's his face? I don't think it was him. It was very good. It was very Tom Holland-ish. We got our first mention of Uncle Ben in the MCU, so that means something, right?
Yeah, he mattered. His name, Colin Hudson James.
I don't know.
He previously starred in Ben. Oh, shut up! The MCU in real life, Mad Men. It's going to be the key to everything. The glue to, Hudson Thames. Yeah, Hudson Thames. I've just gone to another site. It just says Hudson Thames. Yeah. I don't know this person, but you Hudson.
Well done.
Good job. You did sound like
very good.
An older Tom Holland.
Tom Holland voice. So obviously, then I like how the events of Infinity War then play out as normal.
Yes. Yeah, but we got to look at Ebony Maw and Cool Obsidian, like Children of Thanos. But of course, Thanos wasn't there. And I was thinking, oh, great, no Thanos.
Well, because he doesn't come down in the movie, does he?
Not at that particular scene, no.
Because that's when Strange, Iron Man, and
Hulk,
Wong, and not Hulk will fight, and then Hulk's still not coming out. I like how we still get that. I like how Banner's dressed in Wong's clothes.
Yeah. it was good. It was really good.
And then Portal, and then we get Iron Man killing Ebony Maw, and then they both devouring and killing Cull Obsidian, and then he realizes, oh, it's zombies. But the cape gives him enough time to escape.
Hey, where'd it go? It's dark. Wait, hang on. That's a bit overkill. Stop. That's a bit overkill.
Yeah, Iron Man, yeah. And then, like, he gets enough time to escape because Wasp turns up to help, and then Spider-Man takes him on. Like, I'm your friend in the neighborhood, Spider-Man. Oh, yeah? Well, where's the fucking neighborhood?
Yeah, where's the fucking neighborhood?
And we get a band of some. It was very much. It was like an episode of The Walking Dead, but faster and better.
That's what I was trying to get at. When Mark Ruffalo stepped out the house and he's like, "Oh, has anyone got any clothes?" And it's just that shot of him opening the door, and you see just the cars on the street. I said, "Yeah, legit, he's Walking Dead." I was like, "Oh my god, but it's animated. It's a Telltale game come to life in the form of Marvel."
It was. Oh my god! It was
honestly, yeah. It was great intro. It was fascinating. But we kind of jumped ahead and mentioned about how the zombies came to be with the Hank Pym plot and the quantum realm. Like, I'm glad it was that, because my initial thoughts going into the episode, before we knew it was about Infinity War and Hulk going back from space and stuff, I thought it was going to be some sort of bullshit Hydra experiment. I was just expecting some World War II shit come back after all these years, or Zemo has unleashed his plague and something. I wasn't expecting another interdimensional property being the cause of it. I was just expecting some experiment gone wrong or something. Kind of like in real life, to be honest, but, you know.
And I like how it played out, and, like, what survivors were left. Like, you had, obviously, like, Okoye, Bucky. I like how they were introduced almost like Suicide Squad style through the induction video, which was, so, like, you went onto, like, the flashback with Jeffrey Wright talking about the whole thing, and then you would have Spider-Man's How to Survive the Zombie Apocalypse video that's edited in a way like he would have done if he was making the video like he was in Homecoming. I like that. And that whole thing, so you've got Sharon Carter, you got Happy Hogan, and like his tag is never happy. Like, never actually happy. Like, I'm not
never happy,
I'm saving myself for Thor. Like, do I have to read this t-shirt? It's for the audience. And it's like talking, and fucking David the Smolchin. Like, oh god, like, everyone, it was just so good. And the whole thing of, like, wear sleeves because it's saliva, and everything, and all the, I don't remember all the steps because I'm gonna have to watch it again because I literally watched it on my half-hour break. I was like, right, I'll whack this out before I have to go back, and it was like such a good decision. And you get Bruce sort of having the catch-up thing of, like, that he has in Infinity War of, like, there's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man, but it's in a story with both Ant-Man and Spider-Man, and it's quite like, oh, like, he's having his MCU recap without any characters that he really knows, because he's never met Hope before, or I don't think he'd met anyone.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Happy he'd probably known.
No.
And Bucky probably to a point, because obviously he'd never really, by the time Civil War and stuff was happening, like, he'd never really had an encounter with Bucky, so that was an interesting angle to have Bruce be the only familiarity and be like, wait, I don't know any of these people, and then instantly working with them, and the fact that gradually they get fucking pulled off one by one, and we get to a very, very bleak ending because we find out that Vision, a la season 1 of the Walking Dead Telltale game, is, you know, cutting up limbs to feed to a zombie, which is Wanda. And I like, do you know what I really liked? I really liked how...
Yeah, go on, yeah.
Hang on, my thing keeps freezing. Let me just disconnect and reconnect.
Yeah.
1 second.
That's fine, mate. It almost did, like you say, it reminded me of WandaVision with how the plot... felt kind of like, you know, one group of humans or survivors meeting another group of survivors, and it very much, as much as the zombies are the cause of this outbreak, in like The Walking Dead, you know, kill the zombie, shoot them in the head before they kill you. The other thing you've got to fear is the other survivors, the other humans, so to speak, except these people are superpowered. Even the zombies, quickly, they're not just the, I'm Robert Downey Jr. They've all got their powers. Iron Man's, as a zombie undead corpse, is blasting people. Doctor Strange waving his hands. They're going for
the zombies know how to do that. They still walk slow, but they know how to use all their powers.
It's weird. Very weird. But funny, good bit of entertainment. But again, something worth noting. I thought it was just going to be like, but no, they fucking catch you off guard all throughout the episode. What I was getting at with Vision, So as much as the zombies are the plague, and you got to avoid them like anything, otherwise you die. You got to be in mind. It's that kind of dynamic, and with the way the plot goes and what Vision ends up revealing, it then made me think, this is literally The Walking Dead, and it was cool with superheroes.
And T'Challa, because so you see the Avengers get off in San Francisco, a la that terrible game for PS5 and PS4, and they, it's Ant-Man Hank Pym, like shrinks down and bites Steve, and that's what starts because even Uatu says once Earth's mightiest heroes joined the army of the dead, no one else ever really stood a chance. And we find out that T'Challa was rescued from that by Vision, but just so he could keep... Because the Mind Stone is able to sort of reverse the telepathy that it's putting out there, stop the zombies from coming into his compound. So he can try to use it to reverse the effects of the zombiness and manage to save a pull rod in a jar head. And that was quite cool. And he's just making dad jokes. But Wanda is immune to it, which is why he literally just sustains her hunger by feeding her bits of T'Challa, and T'Challa's got one leg now. And that whole thing.
Yeah, still voiced by Chadwick.
Yeah,
still voiced by Chadwick.
And you see one by one, Okoye getting taking out all of them until there's literally just T'Challa, Paul Rudd, and Spider-Man left. And they've got the Mind Stone. Vision rips the Mind Stone out of himself. Hulk, Bucky gets thrown. We don't know if he's alive or not because he's got the benefit of when they're trying the biting thing of he's got a metal arm which is also waterproof. So he's just can't bite me. I'm just going to kill you. We don't know what happened to him. Hulk goes Avengers and buys him time by trying to beat off Scarlet Witch, and they're flying back to the Wakanda with a Mind Stone, completely forgetting that in Wakanda, the Battle of Wakanda didn't then happen because there was no one there.
Yeah.
So Thanos arrived and presumably was eaten, but then carried on his mission. He got all the Infinity Stones apart from the last one.
Yeah, and they have got the stone, so Thanos probably would have won anyway, and zombie Thanos would have still snapped people in the population. But still, all these episodes, regardless of what timeline, if they don't intersect, whether they do cross over, they always want me leaving more. And like we just said, it's the Battle of Wakanda. We know what's going to happen. Thanos would have just killed them and won them anyway, like zombie Thanos. I still wanted to see that, and it cuts off at the right time every week. Can't we just get the aftermath? And I thought the Watcher in that end bit, when they were flying back to Wakanda, I thought that was when he was going to interfere. But again, he didn't interfere this week. So maybe whatever happens next week or episode 7 will be his next. Oh, I won't interfere. I'm a good fellow. Oh, sod it. You know what? I'm bored. He will interfere at some point. And in episode 9 will be the downfall of the ship. That's when he'll be like, oh, bollocks. I should have watched from afar.
I'm going to have to assemble the Guardians of the Multiverse. Because we still haven't met Gamora. Thanos, armor Gamora. And I don't know who else is in the lineup.
Long-haired. Oh, yes, I'm totally not beach surfer for. Shakespearean big body.
Some people don't understand. Not me, of course.
Yeah, not me, of course.
I look forward to that. I look forward to the last one and whatever the other one is.
I think Ultron is either. I think Ultron is in the last episode. Yeah, he's in the finale, which is weird, but yeah.
He gets all
I'm trying to think. So yeah, for Gamora, if they're not in the same episode, so they're the say 6, 7, whatever episode 8 will be. and then multiverse is where everything all collides. Will be the last one.
Yeah.
So we've still got 4 more left.
I really enjoyed it. Great cast, great episode. Very bleak, but I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Like last week's, very much like last week's.
Yeah.
Just more emotionally bleak.
So that was that. Proper 10 out of 10 episode. Like a certain movie in this universe, we finally got to go post Avengers Endgame in the MCU.
Finally.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of Thy Ten Rings will probably we're probably going to be talking about this for a while because it's the first big MCU film that's not set in the past. Because Black Widow was a Phase 3 film in a Phase 4's release date. And
in Phase 4's body, yeah.
We'll probably, and especially with the fucking laggy connection, so we'll go spoiler-free first, and then we'll do our thoughts invoking spoilers. So you've got a bit of warning if you don't want to be spoiled on Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, because we know that it's only been out a week, you might not have had time yet. But if you love Marvel, you probably go to the cinema more. So, it's your own fault.
Oh, come on, viewers. This is your favourite bit of the video. We talk about the things that we're all paid to talk about. I mean, I want to be in our heads at the minute. If you're waiting for Marvel every week, if you enjoy our conversations every week, then of course you would have seen the film by now. Or if you're me, you would have seen it twice within 24 hours. No, I saw it Friday and Saturday. When I messaged you and said, "Oh, you seen it?" Still Saturday night, and then had my night out. Well, before then I left to see Shang-Chi again for a second time because my friends hadn't seen it, or if George would say, my real friends, my off-camera friends.
They're the ones he hangs out with more.
And then I went back out after Shang-Chi, and I had more energy than anything because that film's great. That's why it all went to shit. I did so much Saturday, but anyway. The first Marvel film I've seen within twice in 24 hours. I mean, that's all I can kind of say at the minute.
I saw on... I didn't have time to see it on Saturday, so I ended up seeing it on Sunday. Fucking brilliant. Honestly.
It really is.
So I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's going to... predicting it was going to do shit and flop and be the first flop, and that would then make them push back.
Who the fuck is Shang-Chi? Said, who is Shang-Chi? But you could have said 7 years ago, who are the Guardians of the Galaxy? No one's ever heard of them.
Iron Man was a second string character, really, when you think about it. And then he became a major household name because of how well they treated him and how well they done it. I was pleasantly surprised by, because I knew it was going to be good. The reviews were positive, but I didn't want to go in thinking this is going to be amazing and come out like, oh, is that it? I think I tried to lower my expectations a bit so that I did come out and think that was a really fun time. The cast was amazing, like Simu Liu and Aquafina, just worked really well together. I, for the life of me, don't sadly remember the actress's name who plays his sister, but she's also very good.
Okay, let's get the card.
Tony Leung as the Mandarin.
The Mandarin,
sort of amalgamation of that and Shang-Chi's real dad in the comics is great.
Fu Manchu,
yeah, and it's just so good. Like the whole cast is great, and we get some nice surprises and some nice connecting tissue to the rest of the MCU because this is the first movie.
I'm going to butcher her name. But it's Meng Zhayang as Zhu Xialing, the Shang-Chi's sister.
She was fantastic as well. The first...
Sorry, what?
I
was just going to round up the cast. You mentioned Wenwu / the Mandarin / thingy, what's his name, Fu Manchu, Tony Leung, Michelle Yeoh as Ying Nang, their aunt, who turns up later on in the film. Nan aunt, Florian Munteanu as Razor Fist, who I kind of thought was going to be the next Taserface, akin to Guardians 2, but he was better than I thought he was going to be. Razor Fist. I liked how he ended up.
For anyone who recognised his face, he was from Creed 2. He was
Dolph Lundgren's son.
Drago's son. Yeah.
Drago Jr. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where he's from, and that was good. So we did get Razor Fist, who obviously, no spoilers yet for how he ends up. We had a surprise. We had surprise cameos. Really, well, not one of them. Well, they weren't really surprised because one of them was in the trailer, and the other one was leaked by the actor himself. And also married with the fact that All Hail the King suddenly appeared on Disney Plus, not long before the release of Shang-Chi, being so far the only Marvel one-shot which is digitally available. The rest are available on the physical releases of the films, because there's only 6. So I hope they put the others on.
Bring them back. Make some new ones eventually. I feel like as Phase 4/5 goes on, I feel like one random film, maybe they could be the next form of post-credit scenes. I don't know, maybe...
That's sort of what they saw as, wasn't it?
Could come back. They could come back.
Kevin used to talk about how sort of they were really expensive to do, considering they're only quite short. But it was good the fact that come into it, because obviously in All Hail the King, Trevor Slattery, the actor hired to play the Mandarin in Iron Man 3, controversially it wasn't the real Mandarin, but it was a good twist, and I think the Mandarin is done more justice here. Even though he's not really done, because he's the Mandarin in terms of being the head of the 10 Rings, and Brief alludes to his name and stuff like that, and his attitude, and the fact that it's like quite a scary guy, but it's reworked with obviously Fu Manchu like melded into one, because of the MCU is very much like the Ultimate Edition of the comics.
Yeah,
in terms of origins and characters interacting and stuff like that.
Yeah, whether it's a comic or eventually when this MCU dies, which hopefully won't be anytime soon, and when we're older and we'll eventually get the next form of the MCU or whatever it will be called then, and then they'll redo this story, decades later, they'll always tweak some things and change things and just combine multiple characters. Like when Mephisto turns up, or if Nightmare turns up, they will just combine the best bits of Mephisto and this Nightmare and sort of merge them together. Like they will just...
They do stuff like that also. I'm struggling to think off the top of my head of any characters they do that to. But there is a lot, like if I was watching the film then I'd know it, or if I was like reading a bit about it then I would. But it's one of the things they do it a lot of, melding characters into one to sort of, then you get a better than having two more shallow characters. You sort of get a sort of more compounded and like more real level to them, because if you sort of give them the motivations of one thing, but they have the power set of another kind of thing, it works out.
I did feel like with this iteration of the Mandarin, this will be like the closest they can get. But I've read in interviews and even articles, like they did kind of have to change, or the director, Destin Daniel Cretton, wanted to at least change like the stereotypical approach to the Mandarin, because in the comics he's basically just like a straight up Asian like terrorist essentially. Like the 10 Rings always been there, it's been his natural organisation, but he's more of a world dominator, evil person with no complex morals. Like he's
and 10 magic rings on his fingers.
Exactly. Whereas in this, they're more gauntlets. Where I was getting at was they had to change his character to not only have more of a personal connection to Shang-Chi himself, but just to go with the story they were telling and for a film.
As well.
Yeah, and that's it again, just to make all the good MCU villains, like this Mandarin is great. Like he is another good villain. He's on the top, like the good end of the MCU villains. Like he was quite good. You understood his motivations. He's not as developed as Thanos, but you totally got his point of view. He was just being a protective dad, you could say. But the way he went about it was obviously completely wrong.
Yeah.
He was like one of the better things about it, I think, because they could have just gone straight up, "Oh, I am the Mandarin, I have lived thousands of years, and you, Shang-Chi, will give me the rings." But no, they totally, like Jafar from Aladdin, I was thinking more Jafar, but they totally threw that away, thank goodness. And it went well with the story they were telling.
It did. I think it went really well.
Marvel.
Should we do some brief spoiler talk? And then, just because of the state of this connection and my computer, we'll probably talk about it even more next week. So spoilers for some plot stuff and our thoughts on how good this movie was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. Wow. If Owen Wilson was there, wow.
Have you seen Simu Lau's Twitter? Like, he's a great guy. Like, he used to be a model in stock photos before he was famous.
Oh, okay.
So, like, he used one of his stock photos of, like, him and, like, a bunch of people laughing at the computer and, like, tagged it with all the people who thought that we were going to flop when we come out. It's, like, stuff like that is great. Like, he went on holidays on a jet ski and he wrote, "Just me living Mobius's dream." Like, this guy's a fan.
I know I sent you the thing earlier where he did tweet at the time. He sort of said, well done on Winter Soldier, but when can we talk about doing Shang-Chi? And then back in 2018, that's when he then turned around and had another tweet and was like, let's talk about Shang-Chi.
And he put that out with, like, where it started versus how it's going within the movie poster.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. I like him. I really like Simu Lau. Like, he is
amazing. Yeah.
He's young. He's fucking energetic. He's very good at what he does.
A badass in this film. He's truly a badass.
Cool, man. Awkwafina's not as annoying as I thought she would be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've seen a lot of reviews say that as well. They did kind of balance her out, but she was still quite funny. It was funny, but not annoying.
She was more annoying at the beginning. I think when she actually went on her journey, then it was a lot better once she got to that point with the ending. The whole origin stuff for the Ten Rings, and that being a thread maybe that leads into a certain team having to deal with a possible extraterrestrial threat. I'm there for him. Like, we'll talk about the actual post-credit scenes next week when we're in person, because we can just geek out and just go like, ah. But I'm cool with joining the Avengers.
There was two. The first one is crowd pleasing. It teases what yet to come
from the wider universe, whereas the second one is just like, this is what happens to these characters, really, isn't it?
But then, the story ain't over, more or less, without sort of spoiling it. It's essentially, this story will continue. These characters haven't been a waste of time. They will come back.
No.
So,
and the reason I sort of had an inkling that one of those kind of things would happen is because not long after it come out, the marketing changed from a new Marvel Legend will rise, which they aimed it at you because they knew you would buy it, to meet your new Avenger.
Oh, right. That's why you asked if he was an Avenger. I didn't know they changed that.
Yeah, because a lot of the TV spots and trailers... Yeah. They changed to that.
Marvel.
Which I'm fine with, because it wasn't really a spoiler, because obviously I feel because of the sad passing of Chadwick Boseman, a character like Shang-Chi is now going to get more screen time and options and availability, because obviously they're not from the same representational background, but representing the Asian community within a mainstream superhero film, like having literally everyone apart from Razor Fist and Trevor Slattery, really. So, like, anyone of note being of, Asian heritage and being in this film, which is written well and, depicts all of the things that, like, all the culture and all that, depicts it really well. Like, that's important as well, as much as Black Panther was to the African American and Black community. And unfortunately, not having Chadwick Boseman, you're not going to have necessarily a front man that's going to be sort of the one that's going to be
pushing,
commenting, like sort of pushing new boundaries and pushing for more of this stuff. Like, because I think whatever way they rework it into, it's going to be more than one of them. Which is great for people like, I want to see more Denai Guerrera, Winston Duke, Daniel Kaluuya, all one. Letitia Wright, she stops saying that the vaccine was made by the devil, and stop saying things that's going to make Ryan Coogler a bit more depressed. Then sure, but that's a story for another day. So obviously, I think, and we were always talking about who leads the Avengers next, because you don't have Steve, you don't have Tony, and Earth-wise, it would be naturally it would have been T'Challa, and extraterrestrial-wise, naturally, it would be Carol.
Carol.
Which we will still probably get. but maybe more of a like. Because did we see the leaders of the Avengers at the end of this movie? Is that what they? Because that's what I got from that. It was like that's kind of cool that they're almost the next like. Well, we're the Authority now. Mainly because Thor's off world. We won't say who they are, but like mainly because Thor's off world.
No.
And Doctor Strange is fucking up the multiverse. Because I feel like Doctor Strange would be with that 3, if you get me.
No, yeah, totally. When the scene happened and how it goes down, I thought, okay, Doctor Strange isn't involved in this conversation. Like, I thought he was going to be a presence, like you just said, he was going to be with these people in this scene. And partly because of the location where they're talking about things, I just thought, you just associate this character with Doctor Strange, and he wasn't nowhere to be seen in this movie.
Does this confirm that Wong leaving the No Way Home trailer is to go and fight Abomination in Shang-Chi? Because we get that scene, which is very good.
See, but that's the thing. To me, it doesn't really confirm nor deny it. It's still kind of open for interpretation at this point. I don't know. I can't.
It's only because they go when they're at the Sanctum Sanctorum later on. Spoilers.
Yeah.
There is no Doctor Strange, like you said, to be found.
That's all you're getting. That's all you're getting. Stop it, Jeff. I see you in the camera. Stop it. You're not getting any more out of us. Yeah, okay. Sanctum Sanctorum, and yeah, you would assume Doctor Strange living in his house, but hey, he's fucking up the multiverse. Oh, it's Mephisto did it on purpose. It's Mephisto.
Maybe.
We won't know until.
I really had so much fun with this film, man. The casting was great. The story was good. I think the only thing was the pacing was sometimes a bit like
in the middle.
In the middle, it slowed right down, and it was like you don't need to do. I know why, because the whole thing of it flashing back and forward was better than just having it all at the beginning and being expected to remember it. So I liked it, and it was sort of staggered. But it did feel like as soon as we got going, we sort of slowed right down and then started again. It was a lot of that.
It felt like you were going fast on the road and you had to keep changing gear because of speed cameras. You felt like you were going,
and then you're like,
and then once you got to the last act, which, all right, the critics and professional people will say, oh, it's just a CGI boss fight. Oh, there's too much CGI everywhere. That's when the movie picked up, and the final battle was fucking badass. CGI mess or not, that's just your personal opinion. But
it was a simple villain, really.
Something to see. It was something to see.
It wasn't just them fighting the Mandarin, but you got a bit of that.
Yeah, no.
Fucking.
And in 4DX, if I was quickly ranking 4DX films of the year, literally 6'4", I stayed pretty glued to the chair. Legit, in the final battle, which I can't obviously mention because this is spoiler free.
No, we're doing mild spoilers because we're just going to talk about it more.
Bounced out of my chair. That's how intense it was. It was fucking intense in 4DX. If this movie is still around in 4DX for weeks to come, or hey, if you're bored tonight when this video comes out and you want to see it in 4DX, I strongly, strongly urge you, unlimited member or not, go and see this film in 4DX. 4DX film of the year, it's so far. Unless Venom 2 rocks my world next month.
Literally rocks your world.
No, it was amazing in 4DX. I'd even say to you to see it again in 4DX. It's fucking worth it.
I saw it in IMAX.
Okay.
Just because timing-wise, that's where it worked out. And that was good. I've not seen many, because IMAX for me is just I can take or leave. I don't... IMAX for me it's normally just see it normally, in a 2D.
Yeah.
And then 4DX if it's a major thing, IMAX will do. So just timing-wise, it worked out. So we could go and do IMAX because it was on at nearly 7:30. So timing-wise, it just all worked out. And it was great. The script, the picture was fantastic. The direction by what's his name?
Destin Daniel Cretton.
Yeah,
who again going back to Asian director. The soundtrack was composed by the biggest Asian. I was not going to say the biggest, but an Asian sort of indie community that kind of had a bit of a boom the last couple of years. Which I went to see one of their singers, Rich Brian, part of the group known as 88 Rising, who did the soundtrack for this movie. So all of this, again, the whole approach was just very, again, it wasn't just very Asian, but very Asian director, Asian cast.
Culturally appropriate.
like you say, it was all appropriate. Yeah.
It was done by people who care about it and are able to tell those stories in immense detail and in the ways that are respectful to their.
And Cretton's voice was heard. This is what the next phase of any franchise, whether it's Marvel, DC, like when you've just done 10 years, 12 years of telling your cinematic saga, and obviously you've got to start from scratch again for some people, or just continue all the work you did before. This is how the films as individual pieces are going to stand out. If you do not just different stories, because this is a guy that does kung fu, like put that stuff in the bin. You can have an American guy do kung fu, but it wouldn't matter because it's just another guy doing
because now we've got representation on that level, haven't we?
It is the representation, honestly, at this stage for them, but Marvel obviously do know, is the most important aspect going forward. And like films like Shang-Chi, of course, representation was always going to be, I think, the number one thing going for this movie, and like the thing that it had to deliver. And if this movie was shit, it wouldn't matter because it would have been just another shit movie. But the fact that it, rubbed the Asian community the wrong way or sort of did them injustice, that would have slated this movie even more. But the fact that this movie for the Asians was fucking amazing, like the movie in general was fucking amazing. Everything about it just came together. There's not many movies that just did like pacing issues aside. This movie, whether you're a part of the Asian community that is telling and trying to represent or not, like this movie was literally tailor-made. It's almost perfect. It is almost perfect.
I think, for me, it's just the pacing and stuff like that, and the CGI seemed really dodgy in places, like the whole bus thing. Like the outside shots of the bus, it seemed like there was another render to be had in some of those kind of shots, and in other sort of bigger shots in the movie, that was sometimes where it was like, that didn't really look as real as you had a bit of that in Black Widow with the whole tank down the street kind of thing, but apart from that, it was like, it was more noticeable in this one, and that's the only thing that I was like, oh god, I wish that was a bit sleeker because this movie deserves it.
It really does. Yeah, just so it's, I still think the bus scene itself, regardless of how badly CGI rendered it was, it's still, like, if you're breaking down this year...
It's not terrible, it's just noticeable.
I'd say the bus action scene, spoiler alert, if you hadn't seen the trailer, it was a fucking fight scene on a bus. I thought the actual scene was fucking epic. Like, probably, depending on how Eternals and Spider-Man go, it might be, like, the best action scene of the year, maybe. Like, it was fucking incredible. The music that went with it as well, it was just like amazing.
Being able to actually see the fight unfold and not just it be like what's actually going on. It was nice to see. I really did enjoy it.
This movie's incredible. It was an incredible time. I'd gladly see it a third time. Like it is just an incredible movie.
I do need to
incredible
see it
movie.
Again. So I'd rate it a strong 8.5 out of 10.
I'd give it a 9, 9.5. I'd give it a 9.
I think I need to see it again. But I did really enjoy it. It's one of my favourites. It's in my top film of the year so far. I won't tell you where until December, but we'll obviously go more in like the plot and stuff next week when we're in person. We don't have poor connection issues. The Abomination inclusion. Were you underwhelmed, or was that about right for you?
Yes. No, underwhelmed. I thought, okay, I can spoil this bit because I'd like to think, viewers who won't particularly watch this video, but viewers who watch the film and think, I've got my fix of Abomination. He didn't explain nothing, and I know that's obviously intentional because we know Tim Roth is coming back for She-Hulk, like whether it's January or very early 2022. So we'll get more of that answered. But if the whole Tim Roth being the same Abomination from Incredible Hulk 10 years ago weren't floating around the internet, I would have easily just said that's Abomination from another timeline or another universe. Yeah. It doesn't just feel like Tim Roth coming back after all these years. It just feels like they've plucked him from another dimension. And it didn't... Wong literally was just like, right, come with me. Like, we're friends now. Next time, don't hit me so hard. And then they fuck off. And of course, underwhelmed is an understatement. I was like, come on, where's Ross? Where's something? I thought Ross was going to... Or Ross and... Madam Hydra were going to be there to then recruit him in the post-credits or something. I thought, oh, is this going to be it? But, yeah, underwhelmed. That's the only bit I'll spoil. Like, yeah, not much happened with those two, which is a bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
But obviously intentional, because we'll get more of them.
Did you like the new look for him?
Yeah, I was a fan of the look. It's his vocals as well. He doesn't actually say anything, but it's him going.
Yeah, uncredited.
That's Tim.
Uncredited
That's
on the vocals, and then they leave in a sling ring portal. Him and Wong. Where's that to?
Yeah.
Is that to the Thunderbolts?
Or I've seen people speculate it's the Raft. Or it looked similar. I mean, it isn't the same because the lights were different, but they reckoned it was the cage that, you know, they put Loki in Avengers 1. Or like the cage that was meant to be where the Hulk...
Yeah.
Loki's cage, if you like, from Avengers 1.
You rented my room.
Something like that, yeah. Something like that. I don't know. It didn't look like the Sanctum Sanctorum to me.
No.
It didn't look like Sanctorum.
So yeah, because it begs the question, why was Wong after Banner? Not Banner, Blonsky.
Yeah, why Abomination? Yeah, exactly. Why? Yeah.
I like they calls him Emil as well. That really hurt Emil. You want to know how it feels? And then he uses a sling ring, so he punches through one portal and then punches himself in the face. And it's like, that's very clever.
I thought it was sick. That the whole fight, which we knew was in the trailer, I thought that was great. It was just what happened afterwards. I was kind of like,
oh, is that it?
Not even a sentence, not even oh look, Ross is going to see you, or oh let's debrief with Ross or something to confirm that Ross and Wong. I don't know why the fuck General Ross and Benedict Wong would be friends all of a sudden, just to kind of be like, all right, so they are in league, but nothing. And I thought, oh, are they going to see Doctor Strange, and then it's going to be, oh, Dr. Blonsky, we need you for a mission. We got to fix the multiverse, and he would just be him going, oh nom nom. And he's going to turn up in Spider-Man. He's going to turn up in Spider-Man. Oh, I don't know. No, yeah, underwhelmed. Yeah,
nice to know that he's still out there though, after all this time. Finally, some Hulk love. But yeah, we'll go more into this next week, where we can actually not be burdened by such problems. But overall, go and see Shang-Chi, because that was amazing.
Incredible,
more of it already.
Because it's one of these movies as well where if you're thinking about renting it on Disney Plus, 45 exclusive. Same with Eternals, I believe. They're the two Disney projects at the minute that they're going to basically do the 45-day run in theatres exclusively, and then they'll just distribute it to Disney Plus immediately afterwards. So if you want to stay safe at home, you can't. You're going to have to travel outside and venture to your local cinema and support it.
Wait it out.
Please endorse this movie. It fucking deserves it. Deserves it. This movie was fucking great. It was cool, and I wish I was there with you so we wouldn't have to fucking disconnect and lag.
Next week. So in the meantime, you can get in contact with us by sending questions and stuff to
nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com.
and follow at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. In the meantime, not much more to say apart from enjoy the Plastic Fantastic series once the power of the Dalek, or the evil of the Daleks Steelbook arrives and Connor's in full swing. So
yeah,
I look forward to that. And stopping this chair from speaking.
No, I would have actually whacked the tripod out and recorded something, but again, it's just got in the way. But again, once Doctor Who comes, I'll then just use that and be like, right, open. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll do it
all the footage you need, and then we'll edit through it and see how you like it. But until next time,